Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Black with only ice types was a really fun team run. Let's follow that up with another team run. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Emerald with a team of only gift Pokemon. So I'm using the Bulbapedia list for gift Pokemon, like usual. It includes any Pokemon that you're simply given, as well as fossil Pokemon. Now, Beldum and the Johto starters are post-game, so we won't have those until after the Pokemon Champion, and I don't think that we're ever going to end up getting the Johto starter, since we have to complete the Hoenn dex for it, and I don't think that's happening. So we aren't going to have a very big team. We got to pick our starter though, so that's cool. I think this is going to be a fun one. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm sure I can win. I'm mostly curious about what level we can do it at, and how the Steven Stone fight is going to go in the post-game. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use gift Pokemon. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoy the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So, no need for the randomizer this time, since starters are gift Pokemon according to the list. I went with Mudkip this time. I was a bit tempted by Torchic because it does hit super hard by the end of the game, but Fire-type just isn't really super useful in Emerald, and we're only going to have one Pokemon for the first third of the game, so having one that's super effective against early game gyms is probably a good idea. Our nature is lonely, so more attack and less defense. I think I'm fine with that. Stronger Earthquakes will for sure be nice in the long run. Early game travel is really not that interesting since the game is perfectly balanced for using a Mudkip right now, so let's use this as a chance to give an overview of the whole early game. The Rock Gym should be a breeze, and I don't think the Fighting Gym will be very hard either, so the first difficult part is probably going to be the rival fight at Cycling Road. I'm sure that will have evolved by then, so taking double damage off of grass moves could really halt us. But after that, we have the normally hard Electric Gym that we could just beat with ground moves, then Maxie and the Fire Gym, who should be really easy with water moves. That's around when we'll get our second and third Pokemon, and then we'll have some more options on how we want to fight. I have to say I'm feeling pretty good about this. On paper, it looks like a really well-paced challenge. Wish me luck. Well, we evolved into Marsh Stomp before we reached the Rock Gym, so it ended up being super easy. It took a little while just because she loves spamming healing items, but we only took like 5 damage the whole fight. That means we're on the road again. We've got to go to the Fighting Gym next, although I'm a little bit skeptical that I'm strong enough to brute force it quite yet. I'm thinking I'll do Granite Cave first, just for a little bit more experience, clean out the trainers in the Fighting Gym, then I think we'll be ready. So next is the Fighting Gym, and although it wasn't hard, it did take a bunch of tries. You can probably see why. He likes to spam Bulk Up then Vital Throw, plus he has a Super Potion and a Berry to heal. We can do pretty good damage, but his Bulk Ups make Mud Shot too weak, and although Water Gun can two-shot him, it requires we get pretty lucky on the damage range. I'm gonna guess we could take him out with 2 Water Guns every 1 in 5 times that we try, but that was just a guess. In the winning run, I started with Mud Shot, but as his Bulk Up became too much, I had to switch to Water Gun. I wish I could have won this fight with Mud Slap, by the way, but Vital Throw doesn't miss, so this really is our best strategy. It worked in the end, though. Now, just because we won the fight doesn't mean that we're ready for our rival. In fact, the Fighting Gym fight being so close is what tells me that we don't stand a chance against our rival. She's gonna have an actual grass move now, and we're extremely weak to grass type. So I decided I'd clear out the Beach of Trainers first for just a few more levels. I don't think it'll be enough to get us the win, but it's worth trying. You know what? The May fight wasn't that bad. The only threatening part of her team was obviously her starter, but we were hitting for half of her health and damage with Mud Shot. The funny part is, she'd have been a 3-shot thanks to Absorb if I was faster than her, and the only reason we got a 2-shot is because our Mud Shot dropped her speed so that we could go first on the second round. That was a really cool fight. And of course, the Electric Gym was super easy. Manectric put up a bit of a fight near the end, but nothing could hit us very hard. I love when this gym is one of the easy ones. I'm so used to getting stuck on it. Okay, we're finally going to get a new Pokemon soon. In fact, we get the next 2 just about back to back. We have a maxi fight, but that shouldn't be a problem, seeing as he uses fire and ground types. That will let us get to the town where we can pick up the why not egg. It won't hatch right away, and I don't know how useful it's going to be in the long run, but I figure being able to switch into something with Destiny Bond could be pretty useful. It can play a fun support role in the team in the long run. After that is the Fire Gym, which I'm expecting will also be really easy, and then we get our fossil Pokemon. What one do you think we'll pick? I mean, you can guess in the comments if you really want to, but I think everybody already knows the answer. Yeah, the maxi fight was super easy as expected. I really doubt that we're gonna have any serious troubles with him all game. That means we get the why not egg. The funny thing is, I don't think that we're actually gonna have it hatch until we already have the next Pokemon after it. For now though, I'll just carry it around. We'll get a new Pokemon eventually. The Fire Gym was super easy on the first try with a Water Gun, no problems at all. The early game is going great so far. Now next is the normal gym, but on our way there, I took the Root Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. But like, we're actually gonna revive him in this run because it's on the gift Pokemon list. You saw it at the beginning if you didn't skip the intro. So here's our Lileep. I hope I'm saying that right. Someone's gonna get mad at me because I'm not confident on that. Its nature is jolly, so more speed and less special attack. I mean, I guess I like more speed, but less special attack really sucks since I'm mostly using this thing for grass moves. Whatever, it's still gonna be useful. Let's go take out the normal gym. I don't even know if you can re-roll fossil Pokemon to get different natures now that I think about it. I've never tried. Now, the normal gym was easy as always, but the Slacking fight took comedically long. He had about 1 billion chances to take us out because we were asleep for like half the fight, but he was constantly using things like Yawn while we were already asleep, passing up chances to hit us. I promise if he just used Facade every turn that he could attack, we would have fainted every single attempt. But here we are, slowly beating him despite his healing items. Our dad really should not be a gym leader. That puts us back on the road. Now, I'm expecting that the next rival fight will still be easy, even if she has a grass Pokemon, but the flying gym right after might actually be difficult. I have no good moves to take out Altaria, so I'm thinking that I'll have to go get Ice Beam before I can actually win the fight. Sure, I'm getting Cast Form soon, but it doesn't start with Weather Ball, and it's gonna be quite a bit under-leveled, so I can't brute force the fight with that thing quite yet. Speaking of, we got to the Weather Institute, so we have Cast Form. Now, it starts with its awesome weather moves, but it doesn't get Weather Ball for a few levels, so I'm gonna have to boost it up a little bit with some experience share. I remember years ago I did a Cast Form run, and I actually did the math wrong on how insanely strong Weather Ball is. It's a 50 power move, but it jumps up to 100 during weather. But some weather effects increase elemental damage by 50%, and so does the same type attack bonus. Now, I'm really guilty of thinking that hail increases ice damage. It actually doesn't. It works the exact same way as Sandstorm, but for ice type instead of, oh god, is Sandstorm ground or is it rock? Oh no. Oh no. See, this is why I should have written down this part, because then I would have had the correct answer. Future MDB here. I'm gonna say it's ground. I'm gonna go check Bulbapedia. Nope, brave. Give me a second, I'm opening my browser. Oh, I still have the Larvitar page open from a Larvitar run that's coming up soon. Perfect, okay, moveset. Where is Sandstorm is rock. Ah, I thought it was ground. All right, everybody gets to tell me I'm bad at Pokemon now. Right, anyway, so yeah, Hail will change your Weather Ball to being like 100 power, and you get the same type attack bonus and everything. But if you use Sunny Day or Rain Dance, where those also increase fire and water moves power 50%, then you get the same type attack bonus, you get the weather bonus, and you get the fact that the Weather Ball goes to 100 power when weather is active. Now, unless I'm doing some math wrong, that's 200 power. There isn't much that can match that kind of insane damage output. I want to level this thing up fast, because it's going to be our answer to anything that is just too tanky to take down otherwise. Anyway, last required rival fight. Normally this is crazy easy, and I guess it still kind of was, but Leafblade did so much damage to us that we nearly got one-shot. For the first time in the run, we actually had to use other teammates because our starter got knocked out. It was still an easy win though. I used Powder Snow on cast form to freeze Lombre, then slowly took it out with Acid from Laleep. They're both still really weak, but the experience share is slowly catching them up. Oh, and on my way to the gym, the egg hatched, so we have Why Not. This is a support Pokemon, and if we want to invest a lot of experience in him, then he could probably be useful for some really fun tricks. But how useful he's really gonna be in practice is hard to say. Like, if I gave that same amount of experience that I would have given to him, and instead just gave it to the rest of the team, we might do better than if we leveled him up. That's always a consideration in team runs when you have a Pokemon that is potentially a dud. I'll try and at least level him up until he gets his good moves though through experience share, but only after cast form is strong enough to pull his own weight. Castform has a lot more immediate potential, so he's our priority, whereas getting a Wobbuffet is more useful when we run into the occasional thing that no one else can really take out. Now, the Flying Gym took a few tries. I was thinking mostly we could win without Ice Beam if I used Hail and Weather Ball, but it never really worked out. As soon as we gave Swampert Ice Beam though, we had a much easier time. I even managed to take out Altaria at the end with Castform so that we could get some extra experience on it. I'm gonna need that before the end of the run for sure. Castform is gonna be our heaviest hitter in the long run. We are getting so close to that part of the Emerald run where they tend to get incredibly slow, although the fact that this is a team run gives me some hope. We have to do the Megama base and the Maxi fight that I think won't be very hard, but after that is the Psychic Gym. It's a bit of a hard gym normally, but in these runs it's usually incredibly difficult due to being a double battle. Thankfully, this is a team run, so we have actual equal numbers to them, but right now we've only got 2 usable Pokemon and 2 weak ones. There's only so much experience to go around before we have to start doing extra fights to catch them up. I'm thinking that maybe what I'll have to do is use Rain Dance at the start of the Psychic Gym fight, then squash their team with Surf and Weather Ball. Between that, Mystic Water, and the fact that 3 out of their 4 Pokemon are weak to water, we might be able to bulldoze them just before they get a chance to build up Calm Mind. Let's hope it works? Oh, Maxi was super easy, as expected. He's the fire guy in a run where our best moves are all water moves, so he never stood a chance. Okay, so like usual with the Psychic Gym fight, this took a million tries before we could get a win, and the fight is extremely complicated, so it's really hard to recap this in detail. This fight is almost completely up to the mercy of the AI, specifically on what Xatu does. If it uses Calm Mind on the first turn, then it always takes out Cast Form with Psychic on the second turn, so I need that to not happen. Once in a blue moon, he uses Sunny Day, and that's the best scenario since we're using Rain Dance on cast form right away anyway, but usually he doesn't do that. This try, he used Confuse Ray, and we didn't hit ourselves, so I guess that was just as helpful. Despite having Mystic Water and it raining, Surf can't one-shot any of their team, and they have a lot of berries and Hyper Potions, so the fight is rough. Lilleep and Why Not are basically dead weight in this fight, so it's just up to Swampert to do all the heavy lifting. On the first run where Castform lived long enough to take out Claydol with Weather Ball, we ended up winning. It was close, and it was far from easy, but at least I didn't have to grind for it. It did take a lot of tries though, and a lot of experimentation to see if my strategy was even a sane one. Alright, all that's left before the Elite Four is Archie, the Water Gym, and Wally. Archie's basically always an easy fight, so I'm not really worried about him, but the Water Gym could be harder. Maybe I can get Lilleep to a decent level to help with some grass moves, and maybe Castform could do some passable damage with Thunderbolt, but this still really isn't our strong suit. I get the feeling there's gonna have to be some brute force used in that fight if we're gonna win. Maybe even using Hail and Weather Ball would be best against Kingdra. I can't really think of anything else that I could do that's stronger. Oh, then there's Wally. I don't even really have a plan for him, we just win every time. He's never really been a problem. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite me. I went ahead and picked up a load of TMs from around the map, like Sunny Day, Giga Drain, and Brick Break. I have to overhaul some of our movesets. I also leveled Leap until it evolved into Credilli because all the times I tried the Water Gym fight before that were a disaster. Although all that grinding and stuff was after the Archie fight. Hey, you wanna guess if the Archie fight was hard or not? The answer is no. We didn't have any issues with Archie. Don't think we ever do. Time for the water gym. Right away, I have Credilli set up Sunny Day and hit Solar Beam to one-shot Love Disc, and next was Celio, who's faster and hit Aurora Beam for decent damage before we one-shot him too. After that is Kingdra, who started with Double Team right away, and Solar Beam wasn't really doing a ton. We managed to hit it twice, but the sunlight faded and Kingdra took us out pretty quickly. I sent in Cast Form to finish it with Hail and Weather Ball, but Kingdra used Rest to heal back up. He started building up more double teams, so I started missing, and even when Weather Ball hits, it doesn't hit that hard. Cast Form didn't last very long thanks to that, and we had to send in Swampert to use Earthquake, but naturally, we still miss sometimes, and Kingdra can just use Rest. Thankfully, it didn't take long before we hit enough Earthquakes while he was asleep to take him out before he could wake up. For Whiscash, I just used Surf with Swampert, and although we took a bit of damage from Earthquake, we pretty easily finished it off. Last was Crawdaunt, who we easily overpowered with a few Earthquakes, as he was just using Taunt and Hyper Potions. It took a couple of tries to figure out who to use it on, but in the end, it was fine. Next was Wally. He starts with Altaria using Dragon Dance, so I had to just use Cast Form to make it Hail and one-shot him with Weather Ball after he hit Aerial Ace. Delcatty was next and shut us down early by hitting Sing, but the hail while we were asleep dropped Delcatty's health low enough that he needed to heal, so that bought us a little bit of extra time. Eventually, we woke up, made it rain, and took out Delcatty, but we lost just about all of our health in the process. Magneton was a one-shot with Earthquake, and next was Roselia, who actually survived an Ice Beam, but got frozen, so it didn't matter. He used a full restore, and our next Ice Beam was a one-shot. Last was Gardevoir, who went down in 2 Earthquakes. We did get beaten up quite a bit, but it was still a decent first try. Now that we're the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. Look, to be honest, I don't think we stand a chance yet. Most of our team are a lower level than any of the Elite Four Pokemon we'll be fighting. Swampert is pretty good, although he'll need to be a higher level, and Cast Form is great at hitting hard with Water and Fire, although I doubt I'll need Fire, and Ice, although not as hard as with Water or Fire. Credilli is decent at doing Grass moves, but it's still pretty slow compared to the Elite Four, and I've literally just put an experience share on Why Not Now, because it's basically just a one-turn meat shield for the time being. I'm sure that I'll need to level up the team quite a bit before we can take out the whole Elite Four, but I'm holding out hope that we can beat 1 or 2 of them. If we can, then we can grind by fighting them to speed things up. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Dark Trainer Sydney. Right away, it's Mightyena, so we lose some attack due to Intimidate. That makes our Earthquake a bit weaker, but we still just hit that and Brick Break to take it out before it could hurt us, since all he did was use Sand Attack. I switched to Cast Form because I'd be crazy to keep Swampert in against Cacturn, and we took it out pretty quickly with Hail and Weather Ball. Absol is next, and we lucked out right away with it missing Rock Slide so we could hit it. But it didn't do amazing damage, and its second Rock Slide nearly one-shot us. In fairness, Absol is a much higher level than us. We nearly took it out, but it was faster and finished us off, so I had to have Swampert jump in and finish the fight with Surf. Shiftry was next, and he always starts with Double Team, but Ice Beam hit him hard. Second round, he used Swagger, and we hit ourselves, so Confusion is going to be an issue, but he doesn't really have any moves that hurt us very much. We hit ourselves in Confusion a few times, but we still took him out. Last is Crawdaunt, who Credilli easily takes out in 2 hits of Giga Drain. Not a bad start. Why Not actually levels up so much just from this one fight that he evolved into Wobbuffet after. So that was cool. I still don't think he's a high enough level to be useful, but who knows? Second is Ghost Trainer Phoebe. First is her Dusclops that likes spamming Protect to waste your power points, but it ends up going down really fast thanks to us hitting it and then it finishing itself off with Curse. Out to Cast Form for Bayonet, and right away we make it rain while Bayonet hits a weak feint attack. Weather Ball did great damage, but we actually ended up having to switch out because Bayonet used Grudge, and I didn't want to run out of Weather Balls mid-fight. Swampert finished it off, but not before taking a hit and losing a little special defense. Sableye was just a one-shot with Surf, since it's still raining, and the second Bayonet hit us pretty hard, but also went down in 2 Surfs. I mean, after the full restore, that is. Last was Dusclops, who took us to red health, but went down in 2 Surfs. I can't believe that we're winning these fights despite the level disadvantage. Third is Ice Trainer Glacia. Now this one is a very slow disaster. See, pretty much our only answer to Glacia is Brick Break, and although it does pretty well, and she keeps wasting a lot of her time with stuff like Hail and Light Screen, Swampert isn't really strong enough to take out her whole team on his own. Castform has Thunderbolt, and that's decent against the Pokemon that are part Water type, but we'd need to hit at least 4 times to make any of them faint, and even with all their time wasting, it just doesn't work out that way. I do think that if I just caught Castform up to level 50, leveled up Swampert a bit more, and maybe got Wobbuffet up to a usable level, then we'd stand a chance. Let's just run through the entire Elite Four a few times for levels and see what happens. Okay, many tries later. The entire first half of the fight is just us using Brick Break one by one to take out the weaker members of her team, losing about half of our health in the process. The second half of the fight is just dealing with Wall Rain. I tried sending in Wobbuffet to use Destiny Bond, but he got crit and was like half the level of Wall Rain anyway, so he just fainted. Out to Castform to spam Thunderbolt, but we got hit by Sheer Cold on the first round and got knocked out after only landing 1 hit on her. I don't know if I've ever been hit by one of those one-hit KO moves in a Pokemon run before. Out to Swampert, and we're just trading Ice Beam and Brick Break to take us both down to red health. It was close, but our speed advantage finally let us get the win. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Drake. He always starts this fight with a Shelgon who likes to use Protect and waste your time, so I just set up Hail and then one-shot him with Weather Ball for a solid start. Next was Flygon, who took out most of our health with Earthquake before we one-shot it too. I tried staying in to do the same thing to Salamence, but it was faster and finished it off, so I had to switch into Swampert and let him finish it with Ice Beam. In retrospect, I should have sent him in earlier, considering he landed a one-shot anyway. Altaria hit Double Edge before getting one-shot with Ice Beam, and last was Kingdra. Right away, he used Double Team, and although we could take him out with 2 Earthquakes, we didn't. One missed, and he took us out with some Surfs. I was worried about if I could still take him out when I got a good idea. I switched into Wobbuffet, used Mirror Coat, and we actually survived his Surf and took him down. Hey, our underleveled Wobbuffet just saved the day. Finally, Pokemon Champion Wallace. Now, I tried this a million times. Alright, so I have to start the fight with Swampert using Earthquake, because he's the only one on the team who won't just faint or take a ton of damage first. Second is Ludicolo, who will literally destroy my entire team either than Wobbuffet of all people, but it still takes a bunch of tries to make it work. We need to use Mirror Coat on the same turn that he uses Surf. It's the only way that we can make him faint, but we also have to keep Safeguard up so he can't just use Leech Seed on us. I've seen him use Surf on the first turn, and I've seen him use Surf after 4 turns of Double Team, so it seems to be random when he decides to use it. I probably spent as much time testing every other teammate on Ludicolo to see who did best, as I did just trying to get Mirror Coat to happen on the same turn as Surf. Eventually, we got it to happen though. After that is Tentacruel, who hit Hydro Pump for solid damage before we one-shot it with Earthquake. Next is Whiscash, who you'd think we should just use Grass moves on, but every time I tried that, he would just use Amnesia and Full Restores to outlast us by a lot. The simple strategy of just using Earthquake twice with Swampert works, but it leaves him with too little health to be useful afterwards. Still, it's the only strategy that worked. Water Onix is next, so of course I sent in Castform with Thunderbolt. Every time I tried this, Castform won the fight, but on this attempt he went for Hyper Beam and missed, so we didn't get hit. I mean, that's nice, but on some other tries, I got him to use like 3 or 4 full restores, and I'd much rather he do that early. Last is Melodic, and I only even got to it 3 or 4 times at this level, but every time I got to it, it was a disaster. On this attempt, I started with Sunny Day and Solar Beam, because on my previous try, it used Toxic first turn, giving me more time. It didn't this time, it just 2-shot us with Ice Beam. Castform hits Thunderbolt, but because Sunny Day is still active, my Castform becomes Fire type. I had to just switch into my 2 other Pokemon and let him faint to get extra turns. They were slower than Melodic anyway, they couldn't have got a hit in. That got the Sunlight to fade, but obviously we're still not strong enough to make Melodic faint. Well, we have rare candies. We're outnumbered and fighting Pokemon a way higher level than us. Let's just catch up a little bit. Okay, so our levels are between 58 and 61 now, and I've tried this a bunch more. Wailord sometimes hits a really weak Water Spout on us, but on this try he used Rain Dance. Not only does that mean we didn't get hurt, but when we switched to Wobbuffet to handle Ludicolo, the Rain baited him into using Surf right away. We caught it with Mirror Coat and took him out quickly. Fast start. Tentacruel took out half of Swampert's health with Hydro Pump, but we one-shot him with Earthquake, so we're still doing alright. This time for Whiscash, it was actually worth using Credilli. He still did the same strategy that made me lose a ton of attempts previously where he'd use Amnesia, but we were strong enough now that our Solar Beam still hits really hard, so we had a pretty easy time taking him down. Second from last is the ever-terrifying Melodic. I kept Credilli in and just spammed Solar Beam. We got hit by Toxic, but at least we're hitting hard. We managed to get 2 Solar Beams in before she used full Restore. We got one last hit with Giga Drain, but we fainted to Ice Beam right after. Back out to Swampert, and although Surf did solid damage to us, our Earthquake actually took Melodic out. That really surprised me. Last was Water Onyx, who we crit to one-shot with Thunderbolt. What an ending. With that victory, we get into the Hall of Fame and win the run, but you know it's not over yet. Gen 3 has a post-game fight with Steven Stone. We are in post-game now, though, so there are some new gift Pokemon available. Now, we can't go grab the Johto starter, since that requires I complete the Hoenn Pokédex, and that's not even close to happening, but I could grab Beldum from Steven's house. Problem is, it's pretty much useless until you've been leveled up a lot, and just using rare candies wouldn't give it effort values, so it might not be worth using. Now, full disclosure, I'm actually recording this challenge a few days before Christmas, so I have limited time to get this run done. But people always tell me that if it's the post-game and time is limited, then just go crazy with the rare candies and have fun with it, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Let's just see what happens against Steven, then we'll keep using rare candies to see when it becomes possible, because there's like no way it's possible right now. Okay, well on the first try we got absolutely bulldozed, even after rare candying Beldum up to level 50. I mean, in fairness, Steven is using Pokemon nearly level 80. Trying this fight with our level so low was asking for problems. Okay, how about we get the team up to level 75, so we're just a little bit below theirs, and then we see what happens. So first is Skarmory. On some tries he uses Toxic, but on this one he used Spikes, so although we took him out without getting hurt, every time we switch Pokemon, we're gonna take a little bit of damage. Eggrun was a one-shot with Surf, and third was Credilli, so I sent in Cast Form. Right away I made it Hail, while he used Ingrain, then we hit Weather Ball twice for the knockout. His Ancient Power took out 3/4 of our health though, so I doubt Cast Form can take any more hits. Fourth is Claydol, and I hit Weather Ball for awesome damage before getting taken out due to Claydol also having Ancient Power. That's fine. Swampert really easily finished it off with Surf. In fact, we got him to use some full restores because he kept dropping into red health, and I love when that happens. Fifth is Metagross, who's a pseudo-legendary. He hits us hard, but we hit him way harder with Earthquake and take him out in 2 hits. Last is Armaldo, but Surf just one-shots him. We just beat Steven Stone without having a complete team, and while having our level be about the same as him. That was awesome. It was pretty easy too, actually. That was really fun. I love that by the end of it, every team member ended up being useful in the Pokemon Champion fight. That's rare that no one on the team ended up being a total dud. We've got to figure out more thematic team runs like this. Anyway, I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday like usual, with Pokemon Fire Red with only Larvitar. That sounds like a weird and probably hard run, but I kinda like Rock-type runs. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments and the challenge request section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time, an extra belated Merry Christmas to everyone watching this, because this one will go up well after Christmas, considering the time that I'm voicing this, Christmas has already occurred. I'm voicing this on December the 30th. Normally, the way my schedule would be, I would have voiced this over on Christmas itself, because Christmas was a Monday, and typically I try to do these voiceovers on Mondays, but every once in a while something happens and you gotta do it later in the week, and I'm actually editing this entire video Saturday at the end of the week, beginning to end, whole thing. I already had the script done, obviously, since I write the script as I'm playing through the challenge. But this voiceover, like, I'm doing it now, and then boom, like the second I got this thing done, I'm gonna get a little bit of lunch in me, and then I am just editing the whole video. Now, if you saw a whole bunch of editing mistakes, that's probably why, although if I was good about getting the whole thing edited on time, then I should have the video up early for people on Twitter so that they can just click the link, or the playlist link, you know, if you just know to check that early, then you can watch it usually more than a day early. Just as a fun little treat. It's completely free. You just click the link and you can watch it early. I don't think you even need Twitter because you can just, you know, not be logged in, go on my account, click it. I know for a little while there was a thing where if you don't have an account, you can't like click links on Twitter or some stupid thing like that, but I'm pretty sure they've changed that. Anyway, obviously I didn't want to work Christmas, so I didn't work Christmas. I just worked through all of my other days off that I would normally have for this week. And here I am rushing to get it all done, which is not super atypical, but I don't particularly like to be rushing at the end of the day. But I'm rambling too much, and I've had so many distractions during this voiceover, like having to run out and bring in a grocery order and feed the cats and all kinds of things that I was supposed to eat lunch like an hour and a half ago. And my stomach is starting to inform me of that. So I think I'm gonna run downstairs and fix myself a sandwich. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.